Hi, this is Neeraj Jaswal and welcome to this episode. In this episode, you are going to learn about the ScrollRect. A ScrollRect can be used when content that takes up a lot of space needs to be displayed in a small area. The ScrollRect provides functionality to scroll over this content. Usually, a ScrollRect is combined with a mask in order to create a scroll view, where only the scrollable content inside the ScrollRect is visible. It can also additionally be combined with one or two scroll bars that can be dragged to scroll horizontally or vertically. So let's get started and I'll show you exactly how to add a ScrollRect. So the first thing which you need to do is add a empty object. We'll call this as ScrollView. Then what you need to do is you need to add a ScrollRect to this ScrollView. You can do that by adding the component and selecting ScrollRect here. This adds the ScrollRect script to the ScrollView object which we just created. The next thing is you need to add a content. So what we are going to do is we are going to add a content to this. It will be a UI image. You can select a image for this in the inspector. Now this is the image. We will make this image bigger than the rect transform of the scroll view object which we have added earlier, which is the parent for this. Now the next thing you can do is we need to mask this image so that it is within the scroll view. It will basically truncate the parts which are outside the scroll view. So to do that, you will need to add a image first, image script. Just leave it like that and then add a mask. See, it has got truncated. Now it will not scroll. What we need to do is we need to pass this image, which is basically the content, to the scroll view content property. So you can drag this and set it here. Now when you run this, you will see that it is getting dragged. So let's go over the properties of this ScrollRect. The first thing which we did was added the content. The next property is horizontal, whether you want to enable horizontal scrolling or not. If I uncheck this, you'll see you will not be able to scroll horizontally, only you will be able to scroll vertically. Similarly for the vertical scrolling, you will be able to scroll only horizontally. I'll just increase the area of the scroll view so that we can play around with more space. Now, so here it is, and if I uncheck the vertical property, you see only horizontal sliding is allowed, vertical sliding is not there. Now if I uncheck the horizontal sliding, even the horizontal sliding stops. So as you can see, this is how to use the enable and disable horizontal and vertical scrolling. The next property is movement type. By default, elastic property is set as the movement type. There is one called unrestricted, which is normally never used. You rarely use this. What happens here is it might go out of bounds and then it is very difficult to retrieve that. But in some cases you might be needing this type of behavior. The second is default one, the elastic, where it basically bounces back when it reaches the borders, and it has got a property of like elasticity as a property which you need to set if you want, otherwise you can leave it as. So using the inertia property, you can control the acceleration which is provided to the content while scrolling. So the deceleration rate will basically decelerate it to till it stops. Now the next thing is, if you want to add the horizontal and the vertical scroll bar. Before that, the scroll, if you want to control the sensitivity of the scrolling, you can increase or decrease this value. Next is like if the horizontal and the vertical scroll bar. Here, if you want, you can add a vertical and a horizontal scroll bars. So, yeah, I was in the play mode, so I'll just go ahead and add the scroll bar. Here, this is the horizontal scroll bar, and what I need to do is I need to set this as the scroll bar for in the ScrollRect. So this one is horizontal scroll bar. We'll run this and see how it looks. This should be outside. Yeah, now it should be visible. Yeah. So let's run it. Here it is scrolling. Similarly, we can add the vertical scroll bar. For example, if I set this, I'll add a vertical scroll bar. I'll name this as vertical scroll bar. Then instead of that, you need to change the direction here. Choose one of the vertical alignment ones. Now I will set the scroll view here. Here you can see you are able to add a horizontal and a vertical scroll bar as well. So this is how the ScrollRect works, and you get a scroll view. So that's all in this episode. Enjoy this coding and keep rocking.